Part 1. The Bag, the Boy, and the Busybody. It all started on a Monday. Of course it did. Mondays are cursed. I was in the kitchen, juggling burnt toast, a barking dog, and an email titled, "Urgent. Your HOA fee is 3 minutes late," when my 15-year-old son Tyler walked in holding the backpack. Not just any backpack. This one contained a highly sensitive, custom-made, $500,000 artificial heart. The device was en route to Children's Mercy Hospital, where a 9-year-old patient was prepped for surgery that afternoon. Tyler was the volunteer courier, a last-minute favor after the original medical driver caught COVID. "You got the route?" Yeah, Tyler said, rolling his eyes. "Hospital, straight shot, don't talk to strangers, don't lose the bag, don't do parkour." "Got it." I kissed his forehead like he was 5 again. "Good luck, hero." Icknum. What I didn't know was that HOA Karen was watching. Karen Witherspoon, Queen of Suburbia, self-declared enforcer of aesthetics, and possibly a retired prison warden in a past life, lived 2 doors down. If your garbage bin sat out 10 minutes past collection, she'd file a complaint. If your lawn grew taller than a toddler's shoelace, she'd snap photos from 3 angles. And today she saw a teenager with a suspicious-looking bag walk across the neighborhood in cargo pants and a hoodie. To Karen, that screamed domestic terrorism. At 10:17 a.m., just 4 blocks from our house, Tyler stopped briefly to tie his shoe. That's when Karen made her move. She drove up in her beige Prius like a bounty hunter, slammed the car door and shouted, "Hey, you there! What's in the bag?" Startled, Tyler stood up. Medical equipment? I'm taking it to the hospital." "Don't lie to me, young man. I've seen enough episodes of Dateline to know a cover story when I hear one." She yanked the bag off his shoulder. Tyler yelled, "No, don't open that. It has to stay stable." Karen, in full-blown vigilante mode, unzipped it anyway. 1 second later, a soft crack filled the air. The containment shell had fractured. The $500,000 artificial heart was now compromised. 3 hours later, I was in the ER, hugging my sobbing son as surgeons scrambled to prepare a backup device. The child who was supposed to receive the heart? Still in pre-op. Every minute was a countdown. Karen, meanwhile, was calmly sipping an iced latte at the HOA clubhouse, bragging about her citizen's intervention. She had no idea she'd just triggered a felony investigation, and attempted murder charges were on their way. Part 2. The Fallout. The next morning, my phone rang at 6:42 a.m. Not a good sign. It was Dr. Leung from Children's Mercy. "We managed to save the patient," he said. "We used a secondary heart flown in from San Diego, but we were cutting it close." I nearly collapsed with relief. Tyler exhaled beside me, face buried in a pillow, still mortified. He hadn't slept. Then came the next call, this one from Detective Sloan of the Pasadena PD. "We'd like to take a formal statement." By 10:20 a.m., officers were knocking on Karen's door. Not to compliment her shrub trimming this time. Karen answered in her usual pink velour tracksuit, holding a smoothie and a scowl. "Is this about that suspicious boy with the duffel bag? Because I was trying to save this neighborhood." "Ma'am," Detective Sloan said, "you forcibly removed a bag containing life-saving medical equipment from a minor. That's a felony." Karen blinked. But I thought he was..." "Attempted interference with medical transport. Tampering with a medical device. Potential attempted manslaughter if the surgery had failed." Karen dropped the smoothie. Cue the neighborhood peeking through blinds. Cue the HOA board president speed-walking away. Cue the karma, in full swing. Tyler watched from the porch as Karen was escorted to the squad car. "Mom," he whispered, "is this what justice smells like?" "Yes, baby," I said, handing him a fresh lemonade. "It smells like gardenia and consequences." Part 3. Suburbia on Fire. Karen's arrest spread through the neighborhood like barbecue smoke on the 4th of July. HOA group chats lit up. Facebook neighborhood groups exploded, and someone even made a TikTok remix of her being cuffed, with dramatic zooms and bass drops. Within 48 hours, I received 3 handwritten letters. 1 anonymous apology, 1 invitation to a silent yoga and forgiveness circle, and 1 request to turn our house into a documentary set. But the real twist came Friday night. Just as Tyler and I sat down for a guilt-free pizza binge, a black SUV pulled up. Out stepped a man in a dark suit with a badge and the unmistakable aura of federal trouble. Ms. Reyes, I'm with the Department of Health and Human Services. We need to talk about Ms. Witherspoon. Apparently, Karen had a history, not just HOA complaints, but full-blown obstruction reports in 2 other states. Once in Florida, of course, and another in Arizona. In both cases, medical couriers, equipment damaged, charges mysteriously dropped. This time, the agent said, she messed with a federal organ transport program. We're pursuing federal charges. I blinked. Tyler dropped his slice. Karen had gone full HOA vigilante in 3 states, and now she was going to be made an example. As if on cue, our doorbell rang again. News vans, and right behind them, a very angry man in scrubs. I'm the father of the boy who almost didn't get that heart, he said. His voice shook. Where can I find the woman who nearly cost him his life? I looked at the news cameras, then back at him. Oh, honey, I said, you're going to want to go viral for this. Part 4. Karen versus America. By Monday, our cul-de-sac looked like the set of a Netflix true crime docuseries. There were camera crews, reporters camped under umbrellas, and even a drone flying lazy circles over Karen's beige bungalow. Her prized lawn flamingos had been moved inside, presumably for emotional safety. Karen herself, out on bail, but under house arrest, wearing an ankle monitor, pacing like a caged HOA hawk. Meanwhile, Tyler had become a local hero. The mayor awarded him a plaque. The hospital sent him a thank you basket the size of a smart car. And Jimmy Fallon tweeted, when HOA drama becomes Homeland Security drama, U-Wanon F914. But things really kicked off when a federal grand jury subpoenaed Karen. And the internet? Oh, it loved that. Reddit threads exploded. Earward public freakouts had a field day. One TikToker made a musical recap of the entire saga, auto-tune quotes and all. Then came the petition. Remove Karen from all HOAs nationally. In 48 hours, it hit 1.3 million signatures, but nothing compared to what happened next. One of Karen's past victims, a retired Navy medic, came forward. She destroyed a cold storage unit in 2019 because she thought it was hiding marijuana plants. It contained anti-venom doses for a children's summer camp in Arizona. That made national news. Suddenly, Karen wasn't just the woman who tore a kid's backpack. She was a serial medical saboteur. By Thursday, the DOJ officially labeled her behavior as part of a pattern of interference with federally protected medical transports. The charges escalated. And Tyler? He got invited to testify. When we arrived at the federal courthouse, people clapped for us. Clapped. Tyler leaned over. Mom, are we, like, famously now? Yes, baby. And we didn't even need to start a YouTube channel. Inside, Karen sat at the defendant's table looking like a deflated flamingo. She wouldn't make eye contact. Not with us, not with the court, not even with her lawyer, who looked like he was reconsidering his life choices. Part 5. Courtroom Karma. The courtroom was packed. Local news reporters scribbled feverishly. A sketch artist tried to capture Karen's nervous jaw twitch. Tyler sat beside me in his Sunday best, quietly fidgeting with a stress ball the judge had kindly offered him. The prosecution opened with a slideshow. Not of evidence, oh no, of Karen's HOA history, complaint after complaint, a neighbor's Halloween pumpkin deemed morally disruptive, an elderly man fined for humming on his porch, a toddler's tricycle flagged as an unauthorized recreational vehicle. The courtroom chuckled. Even the judge raised an eyebrow. Then came the footage. A doorbell cam video of Karen ripping the backpack off Tyler's shoulder, yelling, "You don't belong here." The jury gasped. Karen's lawyer whispered, "We should have taken the deal." But the most powerful moment came when the boy from Children's Mercy Hospital, now recovering, was wheeled into the courtroom. His father spoke. "My son is alive today because of that heart. And that young man right there," he pointed to Tyler, "and someone nearly destroyed it out of ego." Karen shrank in her chair. The defense tried a last-ditch move, arguing Karen believed she was protecting the neighborhood. The prosecutor fired back, "Vigilantism is not neighborly, and medical sabotage is not community service. The judge called for recess. Outside, media swarmed us. Tyler stayed cool. When asked how he felt, he simply said, "Sometimes the loudest people are the most wrong. I just wanted to help." By the time we got home, someone had left a gift basket on our porch. Cookies shaped like hearts and flamingos behind bars. Part 6. The verdict heard round the block. The courtroom reassembled after recess, buzzing with tension. Karen looked like she hadn't blinked in 10 minutes. The judge returned, glasses low on his nose. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?" The foreman stood. "We have, Your Honor." My heart skipped. "On the charge of reckless endangerment of a minor, guilty. On the charge of willful interference with a medical device, guilty. On the charge of attempted second-degree murder, guilty." Gasps. A reporter dropped their pen. Karen's jaw slackened. Her attorney buried his face in his hands. The judge continued. "Sentencing hearing is set for 30 days from now. Bail is revoked." Two marshals approached Karen. She shrieked, "This is a mistake. I was protecting the HOA." The judge banged his gavel. "Ma'am, sit down before I hold you in contempt. Again." As they escorted her out, someone in the back whispered, "There goes the neighborhood." Outside, balloons waited. The boy who received the heart was there with his family, holding a sign that read, "Thank you, Tyler." Local restaurants donated food. Someone brought a karaoke machine. Someone else brought a life-size cardboard cutout of Karen behind cartoon bars. It was a block party, a vindication party. One reporter called it the greatest suburban redemption arc of the decade. But for us, it was simpler. I hugged Tyler tight and whispered, "You didn't just carry a heart, you carried hope." He grinned. "Can I carry hope into a gaming laptop now?" I laughed. "We'll talk." Part 6. The verdict heard round the block. The courtroom reassembled after recess, buzzing with tension. Karen looked like she hadn't blinked in 10 minutes. The judge returned, glasses low on his nose. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?" The foreman stood. "We have, Your Honor." My heart skipped. "On the charge of reckless endangerment of a minor, guilty. On the charge of willful interference with a medical device, guilty. On the charge of attempted second-degree murder, guilty." Gasps. A reporter dropped their pen. Karen's jaw slackened. Her attorney buried his face in his hands. The judge continued. "Sentencing hearing is set for 30 days from now. Bail is revoked." Two marshals approached Karen. She shrieked, "This is a mistake. I was protecting the HOA." The judge banged his gavel. "Ma'am, sit down before I hold you in contempt. Again." As they escorted her out, someone in the back whispered, "There goes the neighborhood." Outside, balloons waited. The boy who received the heart was there with his family, holding a sign that read, "Thank you, Tyler." Local restaurants donated food. Someone brought a karaoke machine. Someone else brought a life-size cardboard cutout of Karen behind cartoon bars. It was a block party, a vindication party. One reporter called it the greatest suburban redemption arc of the decade. But for us, it was simpler. I hugged Tyler tight and whispered, "You didn't just carry a heart, you carried hope." He grinned. "Can I carry hope into a gaming laptop now?" I laughed. "We'll talk." Part 8. The sentencing and a surprise twist. The courthouse was quieter this time, but no less tense. Karen stood before the judge, dressed in a beige blazer that matched her moral flexibility. Her lawyer looked like he'd aged a decade in 3 weeks. The prosecutor laid out a summary of damages, both literal and emotional. The defendant didn't just interfere with a medical device. She disrupted a life-saving mission, endangered a child, and traumatized a community. Karen cleared her throat. "I only did what I thought was right." "Ma'am," the judge interrupted, "you are not the neighborhood sheriff. You are not a medical professional, and you are certainly not the victim here." He delivered the sentence. 18 months in federal custody, mandatory psychiatric evaluation, lifetime ban from holding any HOA position. The last part got applause. Karen was let out silently. No flamingo-shaped protest, no latte in hand, just consequences. 3 months later, the HOA bylaws were rewritten, with community input this time. Tyler was voted Young Citizen of the Year. Our house, now the most visited on the block, thanks to the mural someone painted on our garage, a giant heart surrounded by flowers with the words, "Carry Hope." Life settled, but every now and then, when the wind's just right, I swear I can hear Karen screaming about property values from 400 miles away. And every time I do, I smile. Because this time, the only thing she planted was her own downfall.